Welcome back for another episode of the Dope Stroke Podcast Show. And today is a little bit unique because the three of us are actually together. So we managed, second one now, second time lucky. And obviously it's good to see you boys in the setting here that we are in this beautiful building right now, which is Full Swing headquarters. And we are here talking all things technology and golf in particular. But how you boys doing? What's going on?
I'm tired.
You're tired, jet lag?
I'm tired. Got in yesterday, so I don't think how many hours it was. Like 2 hours to the airport, Heathrow, on the plane, 11 hours, 2 hour drive from LA, trying to get to bed at probably 10:30, woke up at 45. I'm pushing through, right?
Looking good. So about you, Trotty, give us some words of wisdom as a local man that you are now.
I mean, at the end of the day, boys, there's absolutely zero worry from myself here. Most of these podcasts are built at 7 a.m. in the morning, so bitch about being tired, claim that you have to come from LA. You're in the sun, you're in San Diego, it's all good, boys.
I've just been here one day, I've burnt the back of my neck, I've got a line on my head because my hat's too tight. Apart from that, I'm alright.
So first thing he says to me when he gets here, he's worried about his spots. Your turkey teeth travel, right?
It's turkey travel, yeah.
Right, so let's get on to it, covering some main topics that we want to talk about, rather than all of this stick in the mud, oh, woe me, I've come all the way from England to sunny San Diego. San Diego is known for being the golf capital of the world, as you've already said there. Golf equipment capital of the world, maybe where it goes. We're in Full Swing headquarters. It is sick. Behind us is the Full Swing simulator. I've hit a couple of shots on there. Dazzler missed the green. I managed to get one to 17 feet.
I didn't hit a shot, actually.
Deliberately missed the green, so it may as well be normal.
Yeah.
But, I mean, why do you think San Diego is a town? I actually know the reason. Why do you think Carlsbad?
I know the answer to that.
Go on it.
Okay, so basically, going back many years, the aerospace industry was based out of this location. And then as the aerospace industry started to migrate, you ended up having a lot of these specialist expertise that could be used to build and design golf clubs. So that's what happens. And that's why, I know I'm right, I just told you I'm right.
Is right.
So that's why this is the golf mecca, basically. Everything that happens in the world of technology and golf and club design is right here because of those expertise.
So when was that?
I want to say that would have been early 70s time period when that sort of transition was happening. So that's what's happened ever since. Yeah.
So we're at Full Swing. If you go, who are you hitting?
You're not. It's not even a 5 mile radius.
It's
like
a 500
next
yard.
door. Fujikura is next door.
Yeah.
You've got Cobra Pumas at the end of the other street on the other side.
Even Roll next door to Fujikura.
Even Roll next door. That's right. Yeah. You've got.
But then you've got other companies like embroidery companies.
Yeah.
One there next to. So they embroider all the golf bags for like the Ryder Cup and the Tour. They're there. Then you can go to your point, Callaway down the hill, TaylorMade the other way down the hill because we're on the hill.
Adidas Golf there as well. So literally everyone it's minutes away. So yeah, the proper epicenter of the world of golf for sure. And obviously Full Swing itself. Full Swing was founded in 1986, so it's an old company too. And again, based right here in Carlsbad. So all the expertise, all the skills, it's all here. So that's why we're here.
As we're filming this on the Full Swing subject, you obviously see his face all around this building. Tiger making his return to TGL right now.
Right now?
That's right. I've said that 3 times. It must be those spots on the jet lag. I'm not getting into it. We're doing a podcast and Tiger's on. We're in the time. You won't watch it. We'll just talk about your acne.
Do you know what generally hasn't registered until just? I'm thinking, it's always like 11 o'clock at night, because I'm in the UK when it's on. I'm not twigged, I'm in San Diego. So he's on, we need to find out what he's doing.
100%, that's why my phone's out of battery. I was trying to get it organised. I mean, I can go and get it and find it on the
live
streaming of Hulu. But yeah, basically, so Jupiter Links are in the final against LA Golf Club, or Los Angeles Golf Club, this was it. They're playing those guys TGL, and Tiger's putting himself into bat, which is unreal. I saw him hitting balls earlier to loosen up, and he hit one under that new cave hole they've got. Stinger, you know it, obviously, the Sydney Stinger. I mean, we're talking about that right now.
Well, that's another one for the fishing trip.
Fishing trip, okay. Daryl and his patented Sydney Stinger. Those out that know that'll be.
Actually, that's not that. Well, no, that's more of an adult themed podcast show. So let's not go there. Yeah.
She found it there, but
sure, I was looking for signal.
Okay, Jesus.
Hang on, he's
playing.
He's captain.
He's playing.
He's not played. They've got all the way to the final, and he's gone. I mean, That's such a flex, isn't it? It's like
I
unplayable.
assume so. I assume he's playing. So obviously he's in the run up to try and get playing for Augusta.
Well,
That's
that's
the
what I
game
was going to say, because he's in the field now, isn't he? But that's like default is in until he pulls out, so he does that anyway. But is he going to play?
I'm certain he's going to play.
Did you see that Ricky Fowler is not in the field, which might be a name you might think would be in the field,
Or
but
just not even.
not qualified.
Yeah. But it's a small field, though, isn't it?
Yes.
It's a 70.
That's a bit more. It's usually about. It ends up usually being about 90ish. It does move around, but it's usually 90.
But unlike other majors, of that 90, you're going to have 20 or 30 who are just not going to compete. Pass winners, people like that.
Can I ask a question right now of our fearless leader right here? Are we running a Splash Sports?
Yes, we are.
See, I knew that I needed to cover some
There you
important
go.
stuff. I said we had a lot of conversations going on, Lloyd, but I knew we need to cover something. So we will. That's official. Is that a deal done?
Yeah, I've already looped Lloyd in. So Lloyd, if Lloyd hasn't sorted this all out,
Then he can
by
just
end
get
of
it
this
on the dope
podcast, then
Now he's going to learn about it.
Yeah, he's going to learn that.
So last year we ran a very successful betting pool around the Masters. Obviously mentioned short field, very few people missing the cut. It was done with Splash Sports. We shall advertise and do a similar thing. So here's your early warning, heads up that we're doing this. It's going to be, last year it was picked 6 players, wasn't it? And then your pool score of them together wins you however many wongas we were putting on the line. Who knows what we're putting on the line this year? We're in full swing. Maybe we'll stick a full swing. Was it Brucey bonus, full swing kit on there? Brucey bonus, Sydney Stinger in this with the mixer. Who knows? That got you to be quiet again, didn't it? But we maybe we'll put something in there. That's all TBD. But yeah,
You've already made your call.
I've already picked the winner. I'm sticking with it.
That was last week.
Yes, Ludwig. I'm going with
You go, yeah.
He's in
So
my
I fancy it.
pool for Splash Sports. He's going to be in there for sure.
Yeah.
We'll put everything on our socials as well. Not sure how we'll run that yet. That's all to be.
We'll get it out there.
As
We'll
Lloyd
send it
said.
out to all the mailing lists and everyone else that's obviously connected to all of us. But I remember that the names were in buckets, so you had to choose a name from a bucket. So not everybody would have all exactly the same names, and that was part of the skill and the challenge. So if you've got Ludwig, for example, you might not be able to pick the informed player at the moment right now, Matt Fitzpatrick. He might be in the same bucket, which means you can't select him.
I mean, we're going to get to Fitzy, but obviously there's an amount of money that you pick, or you have to pick people from certain brackets, and it gets you into the old boy bracket. And the one you always have to think about is, am I having Mr. Cook?
Freddie Couples.
He was always the guy was to make the cut.
Do you just pick him?
Just
Just
guaranteed.
legend.
Yes.
Absolutely crushes it.
Yeah.
But I mean,
If there is a cause where experience, knowledge, rounds under your belt is valuable, it's there, isn't it?
That's why, and I don't want to pivot too hard here, but that's why I really like the idea of Justin Rose. Because I just think that he's played it a lot, he's contended a lot, he's playing well at the moment. But and I'm not talking specifically now, but I'm saying 5-6 years from now, I can see Justin being the new Freddie Couples.
well, I think if I've got Ludwig, if he's not in the same bracket as Rose, I want Rose as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
that's
possible, though, isn't it?
Freddie and Rosie, they're totally different style. Like,
Yeah.
and the other thing is, I mean, Freddie's pretty old. I mean, you're basically asking Justin to. There's another 20 years yet until he's 15 years until he's.
But the benefit of Freddie Couples is he's a past winner, so at least he's going to get back there all the time.
Well, that's what I mean. JR's got to win it.
He's got to win. He's got to win.
yeah.
He's come second like a couple of times.
Oh, yeah. He lost to Sergio, didn't he?
He doubled 17, I think, one year, and obviously missed that little knee knocker on 17 last year.
He did, but do you know what? I watched the highlights of that. That was a good 4 or 5 feet on 17. He was the wrong side of the hole. And he probably would have wanted to hold it, obviously, but it wasn't easy. It was the approach that left it.
There comes a point in these tournaments when you have to make.
Oh, yeah, 100%. If you're trying to win a big one, you've got to make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that. You always talk amongst yourselves.
We're having a "Are you still there?" moment.
We're still here.
We're never sure if Trotty is still there.
I have never been here.
I mean,
I'll pop back up again.
Well, we need to talk last week of Fitzy, but talk about the Masters. There's obviously a couple of events. I wouldn't pick Fitzy for the Masters, just because I think when you get these players like a Fitzpatrick, who can clearly win big events because he's won big events, they seem to have, I guess, these like ebbs and flows of their career, and they seem to ride this wave and get to the top. So obviously, he came 2 weeks ago, lost the playoff, playing great. Then he's obviously gone for the next week, playing great and won it. At some point, you can't just stay at that level. He's a great player. He's going to have these kind of 3 or 4 events where he peaks and drop down again, and then at some point he'll have another 3 events. So I just think there's another 2 events. I don't know if he's playing them. the Masters is 3 weeks away. For him to maintain that level is so.
Yeah, I think there's a big timing factor, right? So you've got to like cash in and cash in at the moment when you're timing your best performance, meaning you don't really want to time it in January. Like your best results of the year, you can't be peaking then. You need to be peaking Augusta time, US Open time, but the majors is your peak season.
Yeah.
I'm rewinding the clock a few years here, but I want to say Thomas Bjorn might have mentioned it either to me or the circle that I was involved in at the time. And he basically said something along the lines of, I only play well for about 4 weeks a year. And that's it. And it was all about the timing of those 4
How
weeks.
do you time that as a player? Because when I was like younger and mini tour stuff, you'd always be trying to time it for Q School.
Yeah.
So how do you do that?
I think it's experience and reflecting on what you do. So I think the more that you play on tour, maybe you get your PJ Tour card and you're on tour for a few years and you're starting to get into the majors, you have to just figure out what works for you. You know, someone like a Tiger, obviously, you know, best
How
player
do you get time it now from freaking Masters?
Well, yeah.
Play TGL and off you go.
Right, exactly. But he would never play the week before. That was his little plan. So I think when you get into that level of your PGA Tour, you're probably in the majors, you just have to figure out what works for you. You have to figure out whether you're the kind of golfer who likes to play 3 events leading up and then straight in, or whether you're the kind of golfer who likes to have 2 weeks off, go to your own course, do your own thing, get rid of that way. I don't think there's a one-size-fits-all, but what you have to do is try and figure that out pretty quick. And I said this on another podcast, that's what I felt Rory was struggling with the last few years. He didn't really seem to know what was his way to peak. He tried lots of different things. Whereas you look at someone like Tiger, early in his career, he was like, right, I've got my blueprints. I'm just going to double down on that. I think that's the key. But what's the point? This is the question I've got. What point, if you look at the world rankings, at what point do you not prioritise the Masters and the majors? Tiger did, Scotty will, Mickelson did. But if you're 60th in the world, you know, and you really say, right, I need to peak around the Masters, or you just say, I need to play great golf at some point in this year, might get a win, that's good enough for what
Let's just stick on the Tiger thing at one point, for the start here. So, video I did, What's in the Bag with Tiger, right? It was hands down the best video I've ever put out on YouTube. But in terms of content, it was probably the best 35 minutes I'd had with Tiger, because I've got him in good headspace to chill. We got talking, it uses, it was back when it was Tour Velvet full chord, not BCT. Difference between the grips. Tour Velvet full chord is chord, BCT brush chord technology. Slightly different makeup in the chord. And he would talk about how he would run the grips in to Augusta so that his thumbprint was indented slightly into the grip pre the Masters. Now, not to the point where so far the grips are illegal, but the grip change would come the week after to then wear them again, because he was practicing like hours and hours a day, to a point where that was starting to groove in again for the next major. Then he wouldn't do a grip change between 2 and 3 because it's too close, and he would time his grip change all for those majors just based on the wear of the cord and the grip. So when you're looking at someone like a Tiger and you're looking at that level of detail, I mean, that shows you how you truly peak for a tournament. What I found playing long tournaments like Q School and stuff like that is that you play better these 4-round tournaments as you get to the end of the week and you know the golf course so well. You've usually had a round and a half of practice rounds because it was challenge tour at best, so maybe you wouldn't get a practice round. But if you get to like the longer in the tournament, the easier it gets. So for me, if I got away from hitting balls and got into just playing, but yeah, consistency is the key for a lot of these players. But they reckon there's a stat, isn't there, that you win your tour card off of like 3 weeks of play.
That's right. Yeah. But I mean, certainly, look, I never played it, any level. But
your wedge game is
I don't play at any level. But I would guess from my game, if you said, there's a big event that you played in and there's events before that, I would always want to play those events before it. Because I know that if I took a week, 2 weeks off before the big event, I'd obviously want to practice. I'd start getting in my own head by my golf swing and start doing things that maybe didn't need to do. I'd rather go on the course, like you say, and get those rounds under a belt and get playing and get scoring and get that feel of kind of, playing 18 holes, putting the score together, going to the next week, do it again, going into the major, having that momentum. That's a personal thing. But it's not
I think your example, though, when you said about Tiger and Rory and how Tiger managed to get his system dialed in quicker, I think that's more of a decision.
I do.
I don't think it's like, this is what I found.
No.
I think he thought to himself, before he even turned pro, this is how I'm going to approach major golf. And that's it.
Yeah,
In the same way that he wears a red shirt every Sunday.
Yeah, I agree.
Right? He had a plan, and there was no wavering off that plan for the rest of his career. Whereas I think Rory, and I'm not saying that he's easily led, that's not what I'm trying to say, but I think he would be influenced by the outcome and how he then might look to make changes. Whereas Tiger would just not make a change.
Rory changed his build up to the Masters. I thought I said this on the podcast.
Yeah, no, he has. He's changed it several times.
Yeah, based on data.
Yeah, but the data can easily be influenced based on your performance,
And
right?
in the end, I think he did it based on emotion and what he wanted to play. Rather than where
But at some point, data's great when you say that, but at some point you've got to go with your gut.
at some point, you got to hit the shot in golf.
Yeah.
That's where it all boils down to. You got to hit the shot. And as we look at Fitzy and we look at the comeback from the players to now, it's pretty damn impressive. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That was a good leaderboard for the UK guys.
Yeah.
There was a few up there. So obviously Fitzy won it.
Marco Penge.
Marco Penge, Jordan.
Marco.
Jordan. What's his name?
John Smith.
Jordan. No.
No, Jordan Smith was up there last week.
Oh, Jordan Smith.
Yeah,
He's
he's top 10.
But yeah, good job. But yeah,
I was thinking of Matthew Jordan.
that was Matthew
No.
Jordan. No, it was Jordan.
100% Jordan Smith.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, it's come off a lost playoff. But
Tremendous.
But we were
What
talking
about the trophy with the big paintbrush on it? You happy with that?
Is it?
Didn't see that on the Valspar paintbrush.
No, what's that models?
I've seen
Legit.
the trophy.
Did you like that trophy?
It's unique. I quite like it. Yeah? It's like,
What
it's
is
a
it?
bit
What is
funky.
It's a big paintbrush, like a gold paintbrush in a circular kind of motion. It's a tricky one because I was thinking to say, would you rather play it? And obviously, you'd rather play it.
It's a no-brainer.
So, in my mind, it's good to come back and win
Yeah.
the paintbrush the week after. I mean, I'm like, yeah, paintbrush, cool.
The week after the tournament's not that strong of a field, though. So obviously there's good players there, but it's not the strongest PGA Tour field by any stretch of the imagination. But you've still got to win.
And we mentioned on the podcast, he set that win up after the playoff the week before. The way
he reacted after the playoff
took
was
it,
legit.
moved on. That was setting up the week after. He could have easily gone and be like
Yeah,
sitting there moaning about it, lost the playoff, but you know, straight into the next year and win. So
Yeah.
he'll win another major. He's good.
You think so?
Yeah, I think he will. Not this year, but I think he's young enough.
He'll win another major.
Yeah, I think so.
You're not so sure?
He's young. He's going to be playing most of the next 10, 15 years. Get him in the Opens, right? Of course, it suits him. Yeah, why not? He seems to do well in the big
bad
events.
shout. It's just, but I'm
He's
sure there's
more
people
major.
watching this thinking, what? It's a big shout, but it's not a bad shout.
It's not a big shout. He's won one major. He could have easily won the Players. If you said this player has won a major, player for the Players could have won another one. It's not going to do it, obviously. But
Why do you think it's a big shout, though? I know there's other good players out there, but he has proven himself to be.
Because I don't think he's in those. Pick 4 names a year, and I don't think he jumps out in those 4.
No, you're right.
How many times of those 4 that we choose goes on to actually win the major?
I did all right in Splash Sports Bet last year.
Or you have to bet again and see if it wins and don't.
I think it's a big shout. I think it's very course dependent. You backed it up by saying the Open. I think maybe. I just think he's peaking now. Can he hold that to Augusta? And there's just a lot. And I think you look at these players. There's some high caliber names.
He puts well,
Right.
really well. He's added distance to his driver. He's working with Mark Blackburn, who I really rate as a coach. I just think at the moment what I'm seeing from him is he's already won a major, and I feel like he's doing
Who wins a major?
certain things to kick him on there.
Who wins a major first? He's already got one. Him or Ludwig, or neither. Which
Well,
bet would
starting
you
from scratch today.
today? If you could take a bet, would you take Fitz, Ludwig, or neither to win another major? And what order would you put them in?
That's
Difficult.
difficult.
Yeah, because Fitz
I mean,
is
I'm
proven.
gonna go- yeah.
Fitz is proven.
I would say for special based on the proven history. If you didn't have that history,
Then you say Ludwig or neither.
well, it depends on how recent you go. Because like the players the other day, it wasn't Ludwig up there. It was
But it was Ludwig's all week to
for
lose.
3 days. I know. So that's why I think it's really hard one to answer.
But if you look, I mean, Ludwig's, this is just an example, it's not a guarantee. You look at Ryder Cup players,
Mm-hmm.
look at Team Europe over the last 15 years, look at all the players who played in who've been stalwarts, playing every year. Pretty much all of them have got a major, apart from Westwood and Holt. But a lot of them got majors. He'll be a right
I reckon
player
I
for
can come up with a few more.
So
Casey, Donald.
I think a lot of them, if you play the Ryder Cup for like 10, 15 years, you tend to be a good major.
Can I just say, I think it's robbery that Casey doesn't have a major. I'm going to tell you now, I think it's robbery that Casey doesn't have one. And I love Matt Fitz, so I'm being careful. But if you had a whole lifetime record and you stood here with caddies who've seen it live, I think the majority would say, like, Casey. But having said that, Billy Foster got his major with Fitzpatrick. Yeah, so maybe not, but
I mean,
Casey's
also
quality.
Yeah, but I think if
He wasn't sustained.
No, I don't
at
think
their
he was-
level. He was great.
It was great for like 2 decades.
he
I don't
never
know
knocked
what
us
it was.
Yeah,
aside.
but-
He didn't even have a second place, did he?
I think he was in the mix in St Andrews when Louis Oosthuizen won.
Who stays
In the well, let's just quick get off Fitz and talk about your live event back in the hometown.
Did you see the crowd?
The crowds are amazing.
Jesus.
And DeChambeau won it, and he says
Crying.
the best crowd.
Crying,
He was crying, yeah, because winning in South Africa is the pinnacle of excellence. You know, we're talking about Africa's major, right?
The old Saffers love Liv.
They really, but the thing with it though is that Liv has been televised on SuperSport, which is the big sports channel over there, from day one. So that was one of the first major or first relevant broadcast TV rights that Liv secured was in South Africa. So the support and the groundswell in the nation has been the best in the world.
I'm proposing a new section on the podcast. We call it like a social roundup. There's the stuff that I see on social. I think it'd be great to discuss that on the podcast. So
We
this
could
is
call it Sydney Stingers Social Roundup.
I like it. I think there's a ring to it.
So this is a thing from social. I just screenshotted it. So this is Luke Elvey. Don't know who he is.
He's a journalist.
Okay, well, he would be. The biggest mistake that the PGA Tour made was ignoring markets from which a number of their stars come from, taking and rarely giving back to those countries
I think he's
what
an Aussie.
forced Liv's arrival. Don't hate that it's becoming popular globally. Hate the tour leadership that ignored its potential. Like the crowds in South Africa were incredible.
Incredible. I actually want to
Is
touch
that
on
true?
this. Yes, it's true. And I want to I'll give a real life scenario here about a conversation that I had with Keith Petty, who's now no longer the CEO of the tour. And we were having a conversation about the top 10 players that get awarded a PGA Tour card at the end of the year.
Yeah.
I said to him, I don't think that that's a good idea because you're now going to weaken the strength of the majority of the European Tour field. It's not great for the tour. And he said, but everybody wants to play on the PGA Tour. And I said, now I know for a fact that that's not necessarily true when you're growing up. In South Africa, where I grew up, the only tour that ever rolled into town was the European Tour. So I remember,
The old Sunshine Tour.
yeah, that's a local tour, isn't it? But I'm talking about like legit tour. Not that the Sunshine Tour is not legit, but I'm
Triple
talking about
co-sanctioned down there. We go down
Yeah,
there
yeah.
every year.
Yeah, but it wasn't like that in the beginning. So in the beginning, I remember going to Houghton Golf Club, and my dad took me out of school on a Friday afternoon. I must have been 14 years of age, and we met Greg Norman, Gary Player,
No wonder you
Faldo.
can't spell. Bunking off school.
I can't spell.
It's always-
Mate, I've seen
It's
your
always
emails.
That's why he's sat in here with you and me.
Yeah.
Our excuses are we're playing golf. He's looking at them.
You drive his business.
So go on. So basically, you were bunking off school while
I
me and him
was
were
bunking off.
practicing.
Yeah, I mean, I've done it a lot when I was 17, actually. But
Yeah.
that's another,
Goths
that's
is the
another-
story you told me about
Goths
this week.
story.
Anyway, carry on.
Anyway,
Daryl's partial to someone who.
all I'm saying,
Slightly
Trotty, shut your mouth, is all I'm saying is that we had a lot of the best players in the world. Bernard Langs, all these guys come into town every year when I was growing up. We had the $1 Million Challenge.
Sevi?
The first Sevi was there. It was the first event where a tournament got to $1 million was in South Africa. So huge groundswell.
where was
of
it played at?
people in Sun City.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted to play on the European Tour. And I was trying to say this to Keith Petty. Obviously, I know the world has changed, and I know the golf ecosystem has changed. But to your point, and to what that journalist has said, Luke, whatever his name was again, LV,
He's an Australian.
Australian guy.
Pretty
family.
certain. Pretty certain. I'm 90% certain.
I think he's right. They're ignoring the markets that actually are buoyant for and wanting that elite level golf. So I'm not surprised to see places like Australia and South Africa have huge support for Liv because they're they're actually penetrating the audience group there. And PGA Tour and European Tour are absent.
But surely, I mean, obviously, golf in those places is popular, as we can see from the crowds, but it also is because of the scarcity of the tour. So because they basically if you go to South Africa once, everybody goes. If you have 15 tournaments there, the crowds will be dispersed across those 15. So it's almost kind of
Formula One.
Exactly. There's a need there. So you kind of go there, you create your event, you want to see some big stars, everyone attends, and then that's it.
I think that also comes back to when you look at the European Tour schedule, there's too many tournaments. So if the tournament's schedule got reduced a lot more, that scarcity element rises. The problem with the tours, in particular the European Tour, is they're measured on two things. One is increasing prize funds, which means you have to have more tournaments to increase the overall prize fund. And the other one is playing opportunities for players. More tournaments creates more playing opportunities. But actually the model isn't that effective when it comes to sponsors, which is where the live concept actually does have, when you break it all down, there's actually a logic to the way that they've done it. They've done it in a way that you get the highest profile names playing all of the days.
Yeah, I love the way they've done that.
Yeah, I think it's a smart way to do it. And you know that if you're going to go to a live event in Adelaide and a live event in London, you should in theory see all of the same players. Just like when you go to a Formula One race, you're going to see Lewis Hamilton in Tokyo and you're also going to see him in Sao Paulo. And I think that's the point. Whereas the tours have that fractured dynamic, and it was research that took place just as Liv was getting going. I mean, it gets a bit wrong, but you could have, if you looked at the top 3 players in the world who are playing on the PGA Tour, they only, outside of the majors, they only played in the same tournament something like 6 times over the course of the 12-month period, outside of the majors. So
that's how
quite
it will be
interesting.
now. That's how
There you go. So that was the point, is to try and make sure that sponsors...
But I'm going to sort of be devil's advocate here. The thing is, being in the States now and obviously living here for 12 years, you get to a point, so the tour's been to Hawaii, been to the West Coast, bounced to Florida, now going to Texas, then it'll get into major number 1, then it'll go a couple of smaller events, then it'll go into major number 2, then the Northeast pocket, then it'll get back into Florida, then the South. It travels the country. It'll go to Canada. It travels the land.
Yeah, but I think one thing you have to
And
really
more,
safeguard
50% of golf business is here. We're now in Carlsbad, California, which is the epicenter of equipment for the industry.
But every
It's all
state
here.
is like a country. It's not, I know we're all in the United States here, but every state is a country on its own right. The state of Florida, economically for golf, is bigger than the UK.
So why are the PGA Tour's going to be a powerhouse? Everyone's going
Of
to
course
want
it
to
should.
play.
But what I think Chris is saying, or Bubs is saying, is it's ignoring the other markets around the world.
But is the PGA Tour not controlled or led by the players?
In theory.
So you look at the money they make, ridiculous amounts of money now, prize money's going up. So if the PGA Tour got the players together and said, look, you play in the US basically, we're looking at taking this tour and you'll go and play all around the world, surely they're going to go, no, don't want that, don't need that.
So
Make
when we
$50 million
self-service,
when we were team
play in
room,
the country.
when we were team room at the Belfry years ago, handing the bevies out and restocking the fridges and
Check
whatever.
out Tiger's wife.
Check out Tiger's wife and told that story. I asked David Duval, I said, mate, to be fair, you're a baller. Like, you've been a baller all week here. Like, why don't you ever play it? And his answer was, to a youngish kid, I don't need to leave America, do I? I've got US citizen now, I told you boys that.
Yeah, you got your photo, yeah?
Got a photo today. Applied for a passport today.
Yeah.
And the bird says to me, you can expedite this thing for like 3-4 weeks' time. And I looked at my phone calendar and I was like, well, 6 weeks is going to be middle of May.
Yeah.
I ain't leaving anywhere for 6 weeks. Stay. Just do the slow boat.
Or you become Americans. Right?
Do the slow boat. I'll turn on the full swing.
Yeah,
Do
you
the
that.
slow boat.
Yeah, you
Give me the slow boat is what I said to her because there was no rush.
Yes, in the US. That means you can play Ryder Cup.
I could, I can start again to see if I'm getting the Ryder Cup US team.
So hang on, but you're going to have dual nationality, right? Or is it just solely American now?
I have dual.
So you could, so depending on your form, you could pick who you want to play with, the European team or the US team.
I mean, we'd have to look into that, but I reckon I'd have to state it at the start of the year which one I want to go with. But in all fairness, I don't think this is a real life problem.
Yeah, but it'd be fun.
It's probably not.
But hypothetically,
Probably not.
if it was a real situation, now bear in mind, some players that have lived in America for a long time, they play for Europe and they've got American accents. You could be the first American Ryder Cup player that is fluent in Scouse.
Yeah, it could be. Do you know, I saw that Annika Sorenstam, she got her naturalization into the US. And then I watched the TV documentary on that, and she actually still played. She played in the US Open, the last one, but she still played under Sweden, even though she was a US citizen.
She was so good.
Joe,
Oh, ridiculous.
how many majors did she win?
Oh, don't do that to me. Double
How do
figures.
you know?
I think I'm right.
Yeah,
Double figures.
10.
how do you know that?
Because I just know.
Yeah, she
She's
won
the
10.
icon.
She won 10.
It's like how many majors has Tiger won? You should just know.
Don't think Tiger's winning this one.
No? What's the score in the TGL?
9-2 down.
9-2 down.
So that's a shocker then.
Yeah. So he's not yet. So. Not
So, what's your take on simulator golf and TGL?
I think it's a shame that TJ is on the time as it is in the UK because it's it's tough to watch it in the UK because of the time, and then with social now, when you wake up in the morning, you see it, you see the highlights, you see the shots, you see the results. So even if you want to watch it, you're not going to sit there and watch the actual footage when you know the results. So I watch it through social, which I guess is a way to watch golf now. It's a way to consume golf. I still say I watch it. I still say I'm engaged with it, but I wouldn't watch the full coverage.
I like watching it. I watched it all last night, and my son will watch it with me, and he thinks it's a lot of fun. He's been in here, this building whack balls, and so he thinks it's great. Obviously, he prefers hitting them at pirate ships or whatever other challenges you can do. But I mean, I think it's great for a new audience. I think the holes with the caves and the rocks and the ski hills are great. And I'm someone who, as you know, is more of a traditionalist and probably shouldn't be that into it. But the more I've played on this thing, I'm like, I love it. And I've been to the stadium. I know we talked about this. The bottom.
Yeah. So how are the players getting paid? Are they getting paid based on performance, or are they getting paid appearance money?
Well, there's prize money up for grabs.
The only reason I was thinking that, is that I can't remember what it was. There was a tournament over this way. It might have been Pebble, actually. And Rory played Pebble, I think it was. Or it might have been Tory, but I don't think he played Tory. It would have been Pebble. And he played Sunday, and Monday he's playing TJ.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, Jesus, you'll know better than me. How long is that flight?
Yeah.
So
it's a nightmare.
Is there a point?
He's going
like
pretty
him,
chill.
right?
He's going 10
he
toes
is.
up.
But is there a point where, he wants majors, he wants the big tournaments, he's looking at his legacy.
He's got commitments
I really
to
don't want to play. Well,
business
that's what I'm saying.
and
At some point, there's got to be something that makes him want to keep playing that. Whether it's prize money, whether it gets to the point that it's legitimately
or
thing
equity
that
in TGL.
it's become that thing. Because I just wondering whether these players are like, at some point they're going to go, I'm on the West Coast. Jesus, I'll fly
Yeah,
away
but
to the East Coast.
the teams themselves are franchises where the captains of the team have significant stakes in the franchise.
Yeah.
So for them, the revenue is twofold. One is prize money, but two, those franchises will make money. And there's raising of money. There's the buying and selling of whatever happens within the franchise as well. There's lots of revenue upside.
A bit like this.
It's a bit like, but it's going to take time. So it's a long-term investment for them.
And let's just hold the phone on this a minute. At some point, I don't think you've been there at one point. I don't think you've been there. Getting on aeroplanes and just freaking going becomes, when you work on tour, it's part of your every week life. As sad as that sounds, every week, that's part of it. JR, Rosie just won, Tory, went back to England between events. Got to come all the way back, all the way to England. So just to see his kids and stuff, it's just part of what I'm doing today. I'm sitting on an aeroplane all day. All the best. That's what I'm doing. Now, those boys are sitting in decent seats and not messing around.
Some of them got their own jets, so that makes it a little easier.
I saw Kang, Danielle Kang, was flying to Asia, and she paid for first class to have the room. And she'd taken those training bands with her, and was doing all the training band stuff in the room on the aeroplane. I mean, that's legit. That's commitment.
That's commitment. But you've got to be, right? You're trying to be the best in the world. That's what it takes.
100%.
So you've got to do whatever it takes to give you that every inch of performance.
You don't leave home without a charger, do you?
Or a laptop.
That's just trying to be the best businessman in the world. That's why you got on an aeroplane, flew over here.
Yeah, it's even costing me my body weight. I'm getting fatter.
You look out of shape. I mean, you're just going to wear
Well,
black
you
from now on.
keep telling me, oh, you're better out of shape, better. All right, mate. I'll tell you what. I've seen you now. This is the first time I've ever seen you do some work on this trip I've been over here for. I've been here for over a week.
I like to just not do too much. I don't know
I
if you
can
notice
tell.
that. It's the California way. I
Mate,
time my
I
runs.
can tell.
I time how much
I
I
mean,
do.
you're actually wearing shoes because normally you're barefoot in your house and, hitting golf balls in your net at home.
Exactly. The net life. I love the net.
Net life.
It's pretty chilled over there, isn't it? It's pretty
Yeah.
slow
Your
pace.
version of Netflix.
We're getting quickly off subject there.
We
Let's save it and put a bow on this thing.
Go on,
We've got places to go and people to see.
yeah, okay, good. We're going to do some work here.
Well, no, let's talk. Well, mate, since you come over, I haven't stopped. So, tell me then what the next podcast entails. Are we doing another one altogether? How long are you here for now?
I'll give it Friday.
So, you're like Justin Rhodes.
I'm just Rose. You got the money. Full receipt. That's the money. What we need to talk about on the podcast, because they've all been released now, I want to get into your series with the Teleme players.
Yes.
Because you work with Nelly, Scotty, Rory,
Yeah.
just everyone. So
Studs
it'd
versus
be interesting to just find out. Obviously, people can watch the series, but I want to know a bit more like the day and just
Totally.
when you've actually got time with Scotty.
Yeah.
How does that all happen? Just interested about that. And obviously, just with Tiger, which I don't think we really spoke about on the podcast about your time with Tiger. So it'd be good to get that at some point. Maybe not this trip, but
There you go. It sounds like a full episode, and it sounds like it's a Thursday at the Valle. What time's that? Because I've just committed to play golf. We can cover those details in a minute.
this is Lauren Stanley we're talking to here.
So there you go. I mean, we pieced together some stuff. Sorry, it's a bit of a quick exit, but I'm conscious of the time. I'm the timekeeper, obviously, for this evening.
You like to be the timekeeper, though.
Because I think culturally, you in particular, are just like, I'll be there a bit late then.
Well, mate, I'll
It's not
do
permitted.
whatever it takes.
You won't be there late. You'll be there on time.
Well, I'm always on time.
Yeah, Americans are on time. And I'm American now, so we've got to be on time.
Yeah, but you're never on time.
I am. The American me is on
You
time.
flap about other people being on time, but you yourself are never on time.
Today, I'm the American me because I've got dual citizenship, and we're going to be on time. So with all that, anyone wants to know anything about the podcast, Daryl can put a little bow on this.
Or I'll let you guys know, we're going to start to ramp up some of the communications as well for Augusta. We're definitely going to run that competition as well through Splash Sports. So look out for that. We'll give you all the necessary information.
I have some very exciting
I'll
news.
why don't you put a bow on
Get to
it?
it. No, I won't get to that. Just so you know, get to that.
Are we going to talk about the chipping competition? He wants to put a little bow on it because Trotty keeps telling me how good a golf he is. And to be fair, I did play golf with Trotty for 9 holes this week, and in his
Did he get
defense,
within 10?
he absolutely crushed it. Hitting driver, made best of probably, to be honest, the best I've ever seen him in driver. Iron play was on point, except going
Huge
down
swing.
first. He was good. He was in there good, but it was the chipping comp that got really serious. But it is what it is.
Are we doing the chipping comp or are we saving that?
We can do the chipping comp. I'm happy to cover the chipping comp.
Cover the chipping comp.
So we've gone to hit some golf balls day before yesterday, whenever it was, and he says to me, before we're about to do so, we'll have a little chipping comp here, and he says to me, so I know,
Bit of the old 2-1 minus 1.
Yeah.
2-1
Best game
minus
ever.
1, best game
That's
ever.
5 for a chipping.
Yeah, 5 for a chipping. And he says,
So everyone takes 2 balls. Each player takes 2 balls. You chip it closer. Do you know, I actually explained this to Q, my videographer, and he's
You
like,
didn't know the game?
no, but in all fairness, he's been playing golf for a couple of years. But I'm like, dude, this game, everyone knows it. So everyone takes 2 balls, first to 10. Each player chips. Let's just do it with 2 and keep it easy. The closest ball, 2 points. The second ball, 1 point. The furthest away, -1. If you chip it in, it's 5. Everyone,
Minus 1 if you miss the green.
Yeah.
you can play that. Whoever gets the 2 gets the all-important choice. I will add, there were no bunkers around this chipping. This chipping green is a putting green, so that's the problem. So the chip shots are limited, all kind of bare lies, quite hard, and the grain isn't really in because the Poana's coming in over here. Chipping over here is all about the grass type. Florida is like nigh impossible, so you have to control the low point. So to get to this, there is a cart path that runs sort of adjacent to this putting green. So we're chipping away, and I knew I'd have my hands full. I'm not chipping great. I've been working on a lot of different techniques, but he's horrendous.
Hang on a second.
He's
So
horrendous.
on the
He's
walk
horrendous.
from hitting full
It's
shots to the
horrendous.
short game, he says to me, right, that's that I'm absolutely going to crush you right now. That's what he says to me.
He's horrendous. The
I
technique
can't-
is
we played
so
no,
lousy.
no, don't listen to him.
So
we played
lousy.
4 games, folks. 4 games.
We played
I'll-
3 games.
No, we played 4. I won 3.
We didn't. We played 3 games.
No, just smoking
We
absolute
played
crap.
3 games. Right? So, basically, there's a chip shot over this cart path, right? And the idea is you're going to play it off this deadpan bare lie, clip it, and then land it on the green, probably the fringe, run it down to the hole. I play a sorcery shot, and it lands on the green. Green's not concrete. I've gone first. Concrete, bang, goes 8 feet past. Like, however, he stands there. He's got his hands lower than his ankles. He's got his neck like this. And he's got this right arm that's like this. And I'm looking at this thing, and I'm thinking, what sort of shit is he going to come up with? And he hits this chip. He catches it a foot behind the ball. It comes up with about 50 degrees of launch and 1,000 revs of spin. It lands middle of the cart path, another bounce on the cart path, and goes to this. And he goes, that's how you play it, Tony.
I'm not being funny. That was 2 points. I got the all-important choice. I chipped in twice.
So then he
down
stands
twice.
on the next
I mean,
one, right? And remember I told you, I keep watching him. And he's got again, he's in his position. I'm like, I think he looks like Forrest Gump. And he stands there, duffs it, hits it this far behind the ball. And I'm like,
And
hey,
stiff it. And I stiff
you've
it.
got to like nail these. And he's like, this is how you play it. And I'm like, it's definitely not how you play. It's not how you play it. This is, you want to hit the ground. You want to hit the ground. See? And then duffs another one. And I'm like, you're shit.
3-1.
So I'm just looking at him. I'm like, you're absolutely shit.
How can I I beat you
Shit.
3 times?
I wouldn't have traded any of my chips for any of his chips.
Well, you should have.
Mine
You
will
should
play
have won.
beautifully, high handle, turn, a little bit of bounce, making that nice sound. Trash.
Listen, I'm all about winning. That's the only thing I'm bothered about. I don't care how it looks. It's all about the win.
We played we
That's
played 9
the
holes.
same
We
as
played
me.
9 holes, right? I demolished him, right? But I started with a double, right? Believe it or not. Third shot, par 5, and I hit a wedge and it spins into the water. Little unlucky, little bit mystery. Don't get up and down. When my lad me, he's asked me a lot of shots. I said, right, a lot of questions. I said, right, mate, I'm having a bit of a head off. You need to be quiet right now. We're going to play some golf. Birdie the next. He's still. My son, who is 12, is 60 yards by him down the second hole.
Honestly, that's rubbish.
60
He
yards!
teed off 100
Past
yards in
him.
front of me.
I was 100 past my son, and he is 60 yards past
Hang on, we're playing off the back tee.
the Font de la Scott.
Jacob is off the front tee.
Oh, I
That's
didn't
not
know
fair,
that.
see?
I've gone in with wedge, he's hit hybrid into the second.
Oh, you're rubbish, mate. Listen,
Well, I can keep going if you want. I can keep going.
We saw Fishing yesterday and he said, all you do is embellish all of these stories. And I think you're right.
Keep
You're
going.
right.
We talk about, we can do every hole of the 9 holes.
We should be wrapping this up on a boat. You've got somewhere to be at whatever time.
Let's go, we gotta go. Right,
On
folks,
that note,
focus.
I win, Trotty loses, and Bubs will bear witness. Other than that, we'll catch you on next week's podcast show. Thanks for listening. As always.
And the most exciting thing will be the Sydney Stinger social tape next week. We're going to keep that
Sydney
coming.
Stinger, let's go.
Next week's podcast, we've already got a title.
Thursday it is.
Thursday, Chippy Close with Darryl Evans.
The best lesson you ever get.
Sydney Stinger strikes again.